It's a clash of the titans as Bitcoin bulls and bears battle over 40,000, which has become a key level on the chart. Now, there's a lot of conjecture as to which way it will go, so we're going to take a look at the chart and all of the news and try to figure it out ourselves. Also, I'm going to take a look at the Thorchain Rune chart, which looks really good at the moment. Let's go. What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, hit that like button down below, and also check out everything I have going on in the description. As I mentioned, there's been a major battle over the past few days for the 40,000 level. We saw Bitcoin rise eight green candles in a row, a record for 2021. Absolutely the best run that Bitcoin has gone on this year. Pretty unbelievable considering that price went to $65,000 before May. Now, digging into the chart, let's take a look and see if we can figure out where price might be headed. As you can see here on the daily, I've been drawing this blue channel descending for many weeks, and price finally broke out. Really strong breakout here on volume, retest as support, and now we're kind of floating above it. What I'm not thrilled about is that price is now rising on descending volume, and all of these candles besides this one seem to start having these wicks up. This is that battle I'm talking about. We have no idea how the daily chart will end up closing this candle, but as you can see right now, we'd have a bit of a high wave spinning top. This would show some indecision and potential exhaustion for bulls, so it'll be interesting to see how this candle ends up closing. Now, also looking at the daily here on the B bands, I've talked about this quite a few times. This was the tightest that the B bands had been in ages. We had it almost as tight in April and last December, but this was actually tighter, which always leads to eventual volatility. Good news is it broke to the upside. Now you can see once you get out ahead of these bands right here, you tend to come back and retrace and then continue up. You can see exactly what I'm talking about here in the December breakout to the upside, which ended up leading to a $65,000 price from around 20,000, by the way. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles that were sort of out above the bands. Then some consolidation and continuation up, consolidation to the bottom of the bands, continuation up. So maybe here, now that we're out and above and we're starting to see a bit of indecision, we see a bit of a retrace into the bands, maybe even test the mid-level, but I think probably a bit higher than that, and then continue up. But you can see what happened when we had the tightening of the bands the last 3 times. Kind of the same vibe here going down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the bands, came back up before dropping further. So my bias right now, although I have no idea what will happen, is for a bit of consolidation before a stronger move up. I'll tell you why I have a bit of confluence for that idea. As you can see here on the 4-hour, we have very clear bearish divergence, right? We had this hidden bullish divergence for continuation up. Now we have from the highest point RSI ever hit in 2021, actually up here around 86, 87, we have a clear bearish divergence with higher highs on price and lower highs on RSI. We do not have hidden bullish divergence yet. We do have it potentially on other time frames. Now, this bear div is also there on the 6-hour, the 12-hour, lower time frames. It's pretty much all over the place. And as you know, once you go this overbought, you tend to eventually make the trip to oversold. For me, I think we could see a drop down into this area, 36,000, test the EQ, which has not happened yet, or maybe even a bit higher like we saw here, form a hidden bullish divergence and potentially head back up. That's kind of the idea that I'm watching for. It would take a hell of a push now to invalidate these bear divs, which is possible, and to flip this area. But you can see we had this same kind of price action in this blue zone quite a few times. It has been really strong resistance and a really tough nut to crack so far. This really does look very similar to this if you take a look at it. So we will see what happens here. My bias is a bit of consolidation here, potentially a bit of a retrace, and then a move up. But I do not think that this is an indication necessarily that we will come back down to the range lows. Things do seem to be heating up, and on-chain analytics and metrics are lining up generally with more bullishness. Now, to be very clear, I am not trading this. I have no intention of trading it myself. I'm not even sure where you can trade it in the United States, and I do not hold this coin. This is purely for educational purposes and for you guys if you so choose to take this trade. Now, as you can see, Rune against Bitcoin is right into resistance. This is not something you would buy right now. It has pumped into resistance and is also below this level at 151.99. So what you'd really be looking for is a clean break above, that's on the daily, and maybe a retest of this area here, or a retest of this line before heading back up. So even though it has pumped here against Bitcoin, you are coming into strong resistance. So this is more something worth watching than something worth immediately trading. But what I do really like that you'll notice is this absolutely massive increase in volume in general here at the bottom. That's a really good sign that this is bottoming and could be continuing up. Now let's take a look at Thorchain against USDT. Now this is where I get the confluence for the idea, right? We have this descending line and a very clean breakout on extreme volume. 10 hours left in the candle, and this is almost one of the biggest volume candles that we've ever seen on Rune, and by the time the day closes, it will probably be the largest candle we've ever seen. Once again, price came down here and bottomed, and there's been absolutely massive volume on this coin in general. Volume precedes price. When you see this kind of volume coming in after it's been a bit flat, that is a good sign that you're bottoming and looking ready to head up. So if you're looking to trade this, well, you missed the breakout, right? 489 was the spot. If you're a breakout trader, you want to take it right there. But now maybe you want to take it if you get this retest kind of this area over the next few days of 448 and that descending line as support. That would be amazing. I'm not saying it will happen. When you try to take resistance to support flips, you often miss the move. You just have to accept that you can't get into every trade and that if you're waiting for that flip, you might not get it. What I would personally do if I was trading it was spread orders kind of around this entire area so that if it does get front run, you still catch some, and if it dips a bit below, you still catch some. But this is a pretty clear, massive move on volume, and we should see continuation even if it retraces a bit. Key levels are marked. Now let's dig quickly into the news. Record 57K Bitcoin leave exchanges in one day. That was yesterday, Wednesday, dropping Bitcoin reserves to pre-crash levels. 57,000 Bitcoin leave exchanges in a single day as demand returns with Bitcoin at the upper end of its multi-month trading corridor. Never heard a range called a corridor, but that's a clever way to call it. I guess we're trading in the corridor. But yes, we saw a record level of Bitcoin leaving exchanges, the most since November 2020, I believe. Really pretty astounding because we've seen some major outflows during the bull run this year. This is considered a bullish sign because you're removing supply from the market immediately. When you take these coins off exchanges, they're no longer there to sell. This is the supply side shock that we talk about. A few caveats. They can be moved right back. Right. So anytime that things change, they can be moved back onto exchanges to sell. So you have no idea what's really happening here. And also often these outflows are to wallets that are unidentified, and they can be movements between exchange wallets and things like that. But in general, you love to see massive moves of coins off of exchanges, huge outflows. New infrastructure bill looks to raise $30 billion through crypto taxes. The draft language can mean a number of individuals interacting with crypto may have to start reporting their transactions. This is not really about retail. It's more about infrastructure companies. They've talked about people who make hardware wallets, miners, things like that, who will have to start talking about all of their transactions and where they are headed. Of course, the United States government is looking to crypto to raise money to pay for their outlandish and outrageous spending. This will be interesting to watch, but it's clear that regulators, the government, Congress, the IRS, they all have their eyes on crypto, and they're going to be looking for creative ways to make sure that we pay more taxes because we already pay enough. But let's be frank. Coca-Cola creates its first collection of brand-inspired NFTs. Coca-Cola has partnered with digital art creator Taffy to release a collection of one-of-a-kind NFTs to celebrate International Friendship Day. All proceeds of the sale will go to international organization Special Olympics International, which supports children and adults with disabilities. They should have changed disabilities to diabetes, right? Shouldn't Coca-Cola be sending all of this money? I love the Special Olympics, but sending all this money to save all the people that they're killing with their product, because we all know that sugar is bad. Either way, it's interesting to see that even companies as big as Coca-Cola, the largest brand recognized around the entire world, have moved into the NFT space. And all jokes aside, it's good to see that the money is going to charity and to support something good. But also, Coca-Cola is bad. Don't drink it. Uniswap says it's talking with PayPal, Robinhood, and more in deleted video. Well, yeah, that's really interesting. They deleted the video because later they said we wouldn't want to cause any confusion, make you think that we actually have these partnerships. But it is interesting that their growth lead went out there and said that they were talking to these companies. Means it's likely true and just hasn't happened yet. DeFi, Uniswap, these things are all growing. It's going to be huge. We even saw Goldman Sachs talking about a DeFi ETF, although we know it wasn't really DeFi. State Street to start offering crypto services to their private funds clients following Bitcoin adoption on Wall Street. Now, interestingly, a really funny typo here. Big Wolf Street companies are looking to expand in the crypto and digital assets industry. 40 and Slip, they were thinking about me instead of Wall Street, obviously. But State Street Corporation, one of the largest bank holding companies in the U.S., is ready to offer crypto services to their private clients, according to Bloomberg. State Street has $40 trillion of assets under management and are moving into crypto. The importance and impact of this cannot be understated. This is one of the largest financial institutions on the planet, and they are moving into crypto. Bullish. Next, cats cause chaos on Ethereum again as Mila Kunis project sells out in 35 minutes. This is not crypto kitties, this is the Stoner Cats, and data from Dune Analytics shows that there was a total of 344 ETH or $790,000 in value lost to failed Stoner Cat transactions. Bunch of Stoner Cats were trying to transact in Stoner Cats and couldn't get their transactions through, but there's clearly still major interest in the NFT space, with these projects selling out incredibly fast and for extremely high prices. If you don't remember from my video before, Vitalik Buterin is actually a character in the show Stoner Cats. Now, finally, in legacy markets, the thing everybody's talking about today, everywhere seemingly, is the Robinhood IPO. So this values the company at $32 billion after they raised $2 billion selling these shares at $38. Now, there's been a lot of controversy around this IPO. We all know that Robinhood has exploded based on retail trading, meme stocks, and meme coins. So if any of that interest disappears, there could be some major problem. Also, they're selling their order flow. And if there is any controversy around selling their order flow, they could lose over 80% of their revenue. And further, they gave a percentage of this IPO to their users who apparently don't love the company that much and are interested potentially in dumping it. So this is a very, very risky IPO, in my opinion. With all that risk, it'll probably just moon when everybody doesn't expect it. But it will be really interesting to see if Robinhood itself becomes a meme stock traded aggressively by Wall Street Bets and Reddit and others, short squeezing and long squeezing it into absolute mayhem. Guys, that's it for today. I will be live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Peter Brandt for my new show, Bullish on Bitcoin. Every Friday, we're going to have guests and we're going to talk about Bitcoin and why it's so amazing and we love it so. Once again, please check out everything in the description, sign up for my newsletter, and check out Femex, who's giving a $1,200 bonus for depositing up to 1 Bitcoin. Guys, the market is seemingly heating up, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few days. Stay tuned to my channel, and I'll try to do my best to navigate you through it. Peace.